Wow. Um, you guys have really sent us down the AI rabbit hole this time.
Yeah.
All your notes and articles touch on some really huge questions around AI, especially how it's going to like change the ways we work, create, and even just live.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like, what I find so fascinating is that AI is really kind of forcing us to re-examine some pretty core assumptions
Yeah.
about, like, ourselves and what makes us human.
Totally. Like,
Yeah.
take AI art.
Mm-hmm.
One of the articles you sent mentions a startup
Okay.
claiming copyright on art that was made by its AI.
Right.
It's like, that just opens up a whole Pandora's box, right?
It does.
Can an algorithm really be creative?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
That is like the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And legally, things get really murky.
Mm-hmm.
Copyright laws were designed for human creators,
Yeah.
so trying to apply them to AI output is a huge challenge.
Yeah, one article I was reading mentioned how some experts think the programmer should own the copyright,
Yeah.
while others say it's whoever gave the AI its instructions.
Mm-hmm.
I can see both sides.
Yeah, the analogy that keeps coming up is photography.
Ah, yeah.
Who owns the copyright to a photograph?
Right.
The camera or the photographer?
Yeah, that's a good point. The camera is just the tool,
Right.
like the AI. But it's the photographer's vision and skill
Exactly.
that creates that final image.
Precisely so. Applying that to AI.
Okay.
The question becomes, where does the human creativity end and the AI's role begin?
That's a tough one. And on a more practical level,
Yeah.
one of the articles you sent talks about how this could impact human artists.
Mm-hmm.
Is AI art going to, like, replace them?
It's a concern a lot of people have,
Yeah.
but some artists are actually embracing AI as like a new tool,
Oh,
a
interesting.
way to push creative boundaries.
Okay.
They see it more as a collaboration, not a competition.
So instead of replacing artists, AI could become their superpowered paintbrush.
Exactly. AI can help artists with things like generating ideas, overcoming technical limitations, or even exploring new mediums for artistic expression.
So maybe it's less about AI versus humans and more
Yeah.
about how we can use AI to enhance human creativity.
I think that's a really important shift in perspective.
Yeah.
It's not here to replace us. It's here to augment our capabilities.
Uh-huh.
And that includes, our creative potential.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to another kind of hot button topic.
Yeah.
AI surveillance.
Mm-hmm.
The articles you shared paint a pretty stark picture, with cities increasingly relying on like AI-powered cameras
Right.
and facial recognition technology.
Yeah.
Is this the future of security, or are we heading toward a surveillance state?
It's complex. It's a really complex issue with
Yeah.
valid arguments on both sides.
Mhm.
On the one hand, AI surveillance can be a very powerful tool for law enforcement,
Okay.
helping to deter crime,
Uh-huh.
identify suspects, and potentially even predict criminal activity.
But on the other hand, there are serious concerns about, like, privacy and civil liberties, right?
Absolutely. Constant monitoring can really erode our sense of freedom and autonomy.
Yeah.
And then there's also the risk of bias built into these systems.
Yeah, one of the articles mentioned how if an AI is trained on biased data, it could lead to unfair targeting of certain individuals or communities.
That's a critical point. We need to ensure that these systems are developed and deployed
Yeah.
in a way that is fair, transparent, and accountable.
Mm.
And we need to have really open and honest conversations
Yeah.
about the trade-offs between security and privacy.
It sounds like there's a real need to find a balance.
Mm-hmm.
We want to feel safe, but not at the expense of our fundamental freedoms.
Exactly. And finding that balance requires a lot of thoughtful discussion, careful regulation,
Yeah.
and ongoing oversight to make sure that AI is used responsibly.
Well said. Okay, one last big topic before we wrap up part one.
Okay.
We've talked about AI's impact on creativity and security.
Okay.
What about jobs? A lot of people are understandably worried about AI taking over their livelihoods.
It's true that AI is capable of automating certain tasks,
Uh-huh.
and some jobs are definitely at risk. Studies have shown that sectors like transportation,
Yeah.
manufacturing, and administrative support could see significant job displacement.
That's unsettling to think about. Is there anything we can do to prepare for these changes?
This is where the focus on reskilling and upskilling comes in.
Okay.
We need to equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered world.
So instead of fearing AI, we should focus on adapting to it.
Exactly. Think of it as a skills revolution,
Mhm.
an opportunity to embrace lifelong learning and develop new capabilities.
So what kinds of skills are we talking about? What will be in high demand in an AI-driven world?
Jobs that require creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving,
Okay.
and emotional intelligence are likely to be less susceptible to automation.
Okay.
And new jobs will emerge as well in areas like AI development, data science, and AI ethics.
So it's not just about job losses. It's also about job creation.
Right.
It's about adapting and evolving alongside this technology.
That's a great way to put it. And I think it's important to remember that while AI can automate certain tasks, it can't replicate the full spectrum of human capabilities.
Right.
There will always be a need for human ingenuity, empathy, and creativity.
That's reassuring to hear.
Yeah.
But what about the people whose jobs are displaced?
Right.
How do we ensure that no one is left behind?
That's a crucial question. And it leads to some really complex policy discussions.
Okay.
Some experts are advocating for things like universal basic income as a potential safety net, while others are focused on creating really robust retraining programs.
So there's no easy answer, but there are different approaches we can explore to address this challenge.
And those conversations need to include a wide range of voices, policymakers, business leaders, educators, and most importantly, the workers who are directly impacted. It really highlights that we're in uncharted territory. The decisions we make about AI now will have ripple effects for generations to come.
That's a powerful thought. It's both exciting and a little daunting, you know?
Absolutely, and I think it underscores the importance of approaching all this with a sense of responsibility and collaboration.
So let's talk solutions.
Okay.
If we want to navigate this AI revolution in a way that benefits everyone, where do we even begin?
Well, I think education is paramount.
Okay.
The more we understand about AI, its potential, and its limitations, the better equipped we'll be to make informed choices.
So it's about empowering people.
Yeah.
Giving them the knowledge to understand and engage with AI.
Exactly.
Rather than just being swept along by it.
We need to demystify AI, break down all the jargon, and make these conversations accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Not just the tech elite.
I like the democratizing AI knowledge. Because this isn't just a tech issue, it's a human issue.
It is.
It's going to impact all of us in one way or another.
Precisely, and that's why. We need a diversity of voices at the table.
Artists, educators, healthcare workers, policymakers, everyday citizens, everyone has a stake in this.
It's like a giant brainstorming session for the future of humanity. We need to figure out how to harness AI's potential while safeguarding our values.
Yes.
And ensuring that everyone benefits.
I love that analogy. It's about collective problem solving.
Yeah.
Not just for the technological challenges, but the social and ethical ones as well.
Okay, so besides education, what are some concrete steps we can take?
Okay.
What about those who are worried about their jobs being automated?
Well, alongside reskilling and upskilling programs, we need to think about social safety nets.
Okay.
You know, universal basic income is one idea that's gaining traction.
What is that?
It's the concept of providing everyone with a basic income regardless of their employment status.
It's a controversial topic for sure. Some people argue it would disincentivize work, while others see it as a necessary safety net in an increasingly automated world.
It's a complex issue with strong opinions on both sides.
But it's a conversation we need to have, exploring different models and considering the potential benefits and drawbacks.
It feels like we're at a crossroads where we need to reimagine our traditional ideas about work and social support systems.
Absolutely. AI is forcing us to confront some fundamental questions about the nature of work, the distribution of wealth, and how we care for one another in a rapidly changing world.
Okay, so education, social safety nets. What else can we do to ensure a positive and inclusive AI future?
Well, regulation is crucial.
Okay.
We need clear guidelines and ethical frameworks for AI development and deployment. This includes addressing things like algorithmic bias, data privacy, and transparency.
So it's about setting boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Making sure that AI is used responsibly and ethically rather than just letting it run wild.
Exactly. Establishing guardrails not to stifle innovation, but to guide it in a direction that aligns with our human values.
That makes sense because AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
That's right.
It all comes down to the choices we make, the intentions behind those choices.
You hit the nail on the head. AI is a reflection of ourselves, our values, our aspirations, and our fears.
Yeah.
It's up to us to shape it into a force for good.
So it's less about controlling AI and more about guiding it. steering it towards a future that benefits all of humanity.
That's a much more empowering way to think about it. It emphasizes our agency, our ability to shape the future of this technology.
Okay, I'm starting to feel a little more optimistic. But I have to ask, is there anything that keeps you up at night when you think about the future of AI?
One concern I have is the potential for AI to exacerbate existing inequalities.
Okay.
If we're not careful, AI could concentrate wealth and power in the hands of a few, leaving many behind.
So it's not just about making sure AI is ethical.
Right.
It's about making sure it's equitable as well.
Precisely, we need to think about equitable access to AI education, training, and opportunities. We need to make sure the benefits of AI are distributed widely, not just concentrated among the privileged few.
And that circles back to the importance of diversity and inclusion in the AI field.
Absolutely.
Making sure that the people developing AI reflect the diversity of the people it's going to impact.
We need diverse voices and perspectives. In AI research development and policymaking,
Right.
that's crucial for avoiding bias, for anticipating unintended consequences, and for creating solutions that work for everyone.
So diversity, equity, inclusion. These are all essential ingredients for building a positive and just AI future.
I couldn't agree more. The future of AI isn't something that's happening to us.
Yeah.
It's something we're all actively creating.
Right.
And the more inclusive and equitable that creation process is, the better the outcome will be for all of humanity.
Feels like we've only just scratched the surface
I know, right?
of this whole AI conversation.
Yeah.
And yet we've already covered so much ground.
Yeah. And it's a testament to just how rapidly this field is evolving and how deeply it's like permeating every aspect of our lives.
You know, we've talked a lot about the big picture stuff, the ethics, the economic impacts,
Right.
potential for societal change.
Uh-huh.
But I'm curious, in your day-to-day life,
Uh.
how do you see AI showing up already?
Oh, it's everywhere. From the personalized recommendations I get on my music streaming app to
Yes.
the spam filter that keeps my inbox from overflowing.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, AI is kind of quietly working behind the scenes, shaping my experiences.
That's a great point. It's easy to get so caught up in, like, the hypothetical future of AI.
Right.
And forget that it's already having a tangible impact on our present.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's so important to have a basic understanding of how AI works.
Yeah.
Even if you're not like a technologist.
Right.
It helps you become a more informed consumer, a more critical thinker, and a more active participant in shaping the future of this technology.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a moment.
Okay,
Talk
now.
about that future.
All right.
If we could fast forward, say, 10 years, what do you think the AI landscape will look like?
Well, it's always risky to make predictions, but I believe we'll see AI become even more integrated into our lives in ways we can't even imagine today.
Like what?
Well, we might see AI-powered healthcare systems that personalize treatment plans,
Wow.
intelligent transportation systems that reduce traffic congestion,
Okay.
and educational tools that adapt to individual learning styles.
It sounds like AI could have a profoundly positive impact on our world if we develop and deploy it thoughtfully.
I wholeheartedly agree AI has the potential to unlock some incredible solutions to some of humanity's most pressing challenges, from climate change to poverty to disease.
But of course, there's also the potential for things to go wrong, as we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
What keeps you up at night when you think about the potential downsides of AI?
The possibility of unintended consequences is always a concern.
Yeah.
For example, we need to be very careful about how we develop autonomous weapons systems. In the wrong hands, such technology could have devastating consequences.
That's a chilling thought. It reminds us that.
Yeah.
Even with the best intentions,
Right.
we need to proceed with caution
Yes.
and always prioritize human safety and well-being.
Absolutely. And that's why ongoing research, ethical frameworks, and robust regulations are so vital.
Yeah.
We need to create safeguards to ensure that AI remains under human control and is aligned with our values.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI, what's the key takeaway message for our listener?
Yeah.
What do you hope they'll remember long after they finish listening?
I think the most important message is that the future of AI is not predetermined.
Okay.
It's not some inevitable outcome that we're powerless to influence.
Yeah.
It's something we're actively creating
Uh-huh.
through our choices, our actions, and our conversations.
So it's about taking ownership,
Exactly.
recognizing that we all have a role to play
Yeah.
in shaping the AI future we want to see.
Staying informed, engaging in these discussions, and demanding that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
I love that. It's a message of empowerment.
It is.
A reminder that we're not just passive observers
Mm-hmm.
in this technological revolution,
Yeah.
but we're active participants.
And remember, even small actions can make a difference.
Yeah.
Learn about AI.
Mm.
Talk to your friends and family about these issues.
Yeah.
Support organizations that are promoting ethical AI development.
Yeah.
Every step we take towards a more responsible and inclusive AI future is a step in the right direction.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise with us today.
The pleasure was all mine.
It's been a really thought-provoking conversation.
And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. Stay curious, stay engaged, and stay hopeful. The future is ours to create,